Welcome to another edition of Inside Stuff with me, Martins Oloja. Today, I want to talk about Tinubu's presidency drifting into chaos. Or I can say before Tinubu's presidency drifts into chaos. This is a commentary on the emergence of chaos in Tinubu's presidency. Now, we are beginning to notice chaos in the office of the president. How do we contextualize stories about the rumors and publications in the social media about some of the men in the same presidency collecting money for appointments, to the extent that the president will come out to say, "Oh, I have confidence in my chief of staff." We hear of how the president's son is using a presidential jet to watch an event, polo race in Kano. We hear stories about, they have just raised supplementary budgets to the tune of 2.2 trillion naira. 2 months to the end of financial year, or so it seems. And so many items in the same budget were allocated to the office of the president, buying new cars for the office of First Lady, buying new cars for the office of the president, building new estates in the already bloated presidency in an expansive area they call Aso Presidential Villa, which is itself a city that people feel Nigeria's president doesn't need. That is a story for another day. But all these stories of, even some of the time the SA media to the president is announcing appointments that ordinarily belongs in the remit of the secretary to the government of the federation. This is a presidency I have covered and have contextualized for 35 years. We're beginning to see some dissonance in the way it is run. I've written extensively on the presidential bureaucracy and how it is central to any kind of stability that you can find in the presidency. The presidential bureaucracy comprising the secretary to the government of the federation, head of the civil service of the federation, office of the chairman of the Federal Civil Service Commission, sometimes supported by the chief of staff. The chief of staff is not known to the president's, to the constitution, so to speak. It's part of the personal staff to the president, but it helps in modern presidential bureaucracy. But it is not the responsibility of the president to be announcing people who should come to the Federal Executive Council because they noticed some strange movements at the Federal Executive Council chamber in Abuja. This is not the story we should be reading about people who just come anyhow. That is the remit of the secretary to the government of the federation. I would believe that if there is chaos within the presidential bureaucracy, there will be chaos in the federal civil service. There will be chaos in the kind of stability that we need. So we should say it is too early to say we are losing it. There should be stability. That is our presidency we are talking about. We do not want such chaos and all those things, talking about the first lady, talking about first son, or talking about all these first children in the first family. This is not the story we should be reading. We should be reading the story about how we are meeting the challenges of 21st century. Within this digital services age of artificial intelligence, how we are developing our own younger ones like that into science and technology subjects that some people call STEM subjects: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We would like to read in the media that all the agencies of government are organizing, not agonizing, organizing to ensure that we move properly into the 21st century as the most populous black nation on earth. Let it not be said that it is too early to say we are losing it in this renewed hope period. This is just a critique of what is happening in the presidency. In 2017, I began to write something about a chaotic presidency when the Director General of the then State Security Service wrote a letter to the Senate that the body should not confirm the nomination of the chairman of the EFCC. I wondered why the same DSS in the office of the president did not screen the credentials of the person nominated to the Senate. So I wrote about Magu and a chaotic presidency, that the DGDSS, who actually hails from the then president's village in Daura, one of his names is Daura, Ibrahim Magu, who was appointed in 2015, nominated to the Senate in 2017, and the Senate rejected him twice, and twice the then DGDSS wrote to the Senate that they should not confirm the appointment of Magu. He wasn't confirmed until 2021, and he was in that office. I summed it up as a chaotic presidency. So we need to be organized first. We do not want chaos, chaotic environment around the office of the president. So now that the Supreme Court is no longer the fear of the Supreme Court verdict is no longer the case, because whatever they say is final. They have said that it is final, that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was duly elected and is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We call on him to ensure that we no longer agonize about happenings there. He should organize, and he should not agonize about the working of the Federal Executive Council or working of his presidency. We need some form of concord. We don't need dissonance stories anymore. We want an organized presidency. We want an organized presidential bureaucracy. If there are incompetent people, he should remove them so that we can have some harmony in the stories we read about the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's our president, it's our presidency. Let no one be asking who is the presidency, as one secretary to the government once asked. We need peace. We don't need all these stories about budgeting for Nyaj. Oh, no, it is not for the office of the president. It is for the Navy. It is for this, it is for that. There are ways of doing this. Civil servants know how to do this. If the office is properly constituted, I think it is high time we began to read stories about how to move this nation to the 21st century proper, and not a story that will continue to cause disaffection and continue to make jest of the way they run the office of the president. We don't need other stories. We need an organized presidency, organized presidential bureaucracy, organized civil service. We have men and women to do it. They have run the place before, now, and we need to be improving. We need to be happy about what is happening in the office of the president. That is the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We don't need it to be chaotic anymore until I come your way again next week with another commentary. Send your comments to the comments section. Bye for now. It is me, Martins Oloja.